The Cerritos has an ancient mask situation for like the third time. Ensign Tendi has always wanted to explore an ethical gray area. And Dr. Ta'ana likes to make the hostages watch. Hey, everybody, and welcome to The Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
I'm not watching.
My name is Ryan T. Husk. Today we're doing a review of Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 4, entitled Room for Growth. And we are going to have a lot of fun talking about it. How you doing today, Cirroc?
Doing good.
So much good stuff in this episode. First and foremost, you're not going to watch Shax and
No.
Dr. Ta'ana. She says that they force the hostages to watch, so you wouldn't have the option.
Well, they can just kill me. It's like they're shooting real bullets in that one. No, I thought that was funny. The whole Ta'ana and Shax deal. But it was definitely raunchy.
That was Love Shax.
Love Shax.
There it is. So there were a lot of funny moments. Now, the mask talk was cool because that happened in Star Trek The Next Generation. In fact, I think the episode was called Masks. I don't remember, but I think it was called Masks. And it's like, there were a couple of those episodes where Data puts on like a mask and turned into some crazy who's it or whatever. So that's what that was referring to.
Okay.
I don't remember specifically. We'll check the notes from Mr. Don Crandall. He sent him in some stuff. If Manuki was the specific name that was mentioned in Next Generation, I don't remember. They did it all for Manuki. That's a Limp Bizkit reference.
Okay, I'm gonna just not touch that, I guess.
It's a band.
No, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I thought Ta'ana was asking Shax to touch her Manuki.
Zip, zing.
Billups was funny in this episode too. I thought they're giving Billups more and more to do. Obviously, his character is growing.
Yeah.
And he was funny in this one. I liked when he was like, he says, "I'm not weak," and he slapped Shax, and then Shax grabs him and he's like, "Come on, let it all out."
That was the funniest. Yeah, the funniest moment was when he did the second baby slap. Like he's crying, and I had to watch that 3 times because I'm like, that's funny.
The second slap was hilarious.
I feel like, because, in comedy, you feel like you've seen everything before, but it's just like, how is it delivered or what's the new take? And we've seen I'm so mad, but they're bringing it in. We've seen that kind of thing. But then that second slap was so good. I was like, I've never seen that. That was brilliant. I loved it.
I thought so too. I thought that was original. It's just, he's like, "Yeah, I'm not weak," and he slaps him the hard time. But then the second he's like, "Let it all out." He's like, "Oh." I laughed a lot in this episode, especially in those kinds of moments. I did like also the line that you brought up in the beginning, the unethical gray areas that Tendi wants to.
She wants to go to Deep Space Nine.
She wants to go to DS9. We've got plenty of unethical stuff going on over there.
Also something that was cool was Taz at the Dove, the 3-armed lady. That's an Edosian. We saw one before in, I think it was the first season of Lower Decks. It was the guy that had like the junk transporter. He had like a ship full of artifacts, and he was the collector. I think he was the collector. So that's the second time we've seen an Edosian, to my knowledge. Edosians were originally introduced in Star Trek The Animated Series. One of the bridge officers was Eric's, who was an Edosian. But anyway, us animated series nerds always get excited if we see an Edosian, because that was only in the animated series before, because it's got to be really hard in a live action series to have a 3-armed person, doing all this stuff, So that was cool.
So they came up with the name because they like Indo and Doja.
Okay, we'll take that. Yeah,
I saw Taz was blazing one up in this episode. That was another little fun.
Taz rolled a blunt. That was not even a doob. That was a blunt.
It was pretty big.
Yeah, I saw that
and
too.
And they had the burning sound in there. I don't know if you could hear it, but they kept amplifying that little burning sound, every little crackle every time.
Hey man!
So that was the second reference I've seen to a smoking device. The first time was Rafi in Picard, and now this time here when Taz was like, "All right, that's enough. I can't handle this."
That's it.
I gotta.
She's like, "Just give me a minute. Like, I'll be right with you. Just give me a second here. Hang on."
It's just too much stress for me. That was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, there were a lot of that whole calming situation place called the Dove was just ripe with comedy because, you know, obviously you've got the Klingon who's throwing the axe around.
Yeah.
There was mud baths going on, which was also something from the Next Generation. Deanna Troi and Luoxana Troi are into mud baths, and they bring Worf's son into it, Alexander, and then they try to make Worf play in the mud bath, and they're all naked, and it's all weird. Which reminds me of actually real quick a meme that I saw on the Star Trek groups, and it was somebody, I think maybe it was like Bashir saying to Worf, he says, "Hey, happy Father's Day," and Worf goes, "What? I'm not a father." Oh wait, I forgot. Yeah, thanks. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like Worf doesn't even care. But anyway, back to this. Yeah, so, there was also in the mud bath, I caught a benzite, which I thought was really cool. I do love the benzites. They're like blue and they've got like the breathing apparatus in front of them. So that was really cool to see a benzite. A benzite was also in Deep Space Nine, Ensign Hoya. And the lady that played Ensign Hoya was also the lady that played like the very sexually active of the four weirdo geniuses in Statistical Probabilities. I forgot the actress's name, but you remember her? She also played Ensign Hoya. But anyway, benzites are cool, and so we got to point them out every time they pop in.
Yeah, I just like the whole "we need more puppies" reference because, wasn't enough puppies in there.
Who can be grumpy being buried by puppies and puppy breath and little puppy farts? You gotta love.
Well, the first time they showed the woman that she was like running from the puppy was there. She's like, "Get this puppy off me!" But no, they have this show just rolls with the jokes. And who was the guy when they said, "Why would anybody join Starfleet to go to to live in a garden or whatever it was?" And then they cut to that one alien living amongst the plants, and he was like, "The path to Kamada in spring."
Kayshawn. Yeah, Kayshawn. Yes, he was doing like the hydroponics bay, like Keiko. He's there, Keiko O'Brien. Yeah, he's a Temerian, I believe is what they're called, from Darmok episode. And so obviously he talks in riddles, but they have a lot of fun with him. I love that character. They're doing great with him.
Yeah, this was the first time we had seen him in a while, and so he did the riddles, the path to Kamada in spring, and then he said, "Oh, Gramble, his throat slit by his mistress," when he cut the flower, and I just thought, this is hilarious. This Kayshawn character just popped up out of nowhere.
Good old Kayshawn Prince. Basketball joke. Cirroc gets it. Most other people probably don't like it. But yeah, so that whenever they go visit some place that has like different rooms or different things, you kind of got to keep your eyes peeled for like the Easter eggs. It just feels like there's going to be a lot of references, like the mud baths or like the benzite or, just all these little even if it's not really an Easter egg, it's like eye candy, you know, because you see things you recognize and you love them. Shax and Ta'ana were called Diane and Biggs. And apparently Diane is her kinky sex name. Is that what they were saying?
Okay.
You don't want to run with that one? You're like, you're on your own with this one.
Their lines had me rolling. When she said, "You want to come here and suckle on mamas?" He's like, "Put that away."
Yeah. That was pretty good Shax.
I was thinking to myself, boy, these guys are just really having fun with this one. She started to tell a story about how she lost her tail that Tierney wanted to hear so badly.
Yeah.
And do you recall the line that she started the story with?
No.
Yeah, because I had to run it back a few times just to hear it. I can't say for a fact that this is the line, but I think she was saying, so she was on a ship, right? So she started off the line and she says, "I was on the Okakin," and then that was the end. That was the end of the line, and I was like, "Was that the name of the ship or something?"
The Okakin?
Yes.
Wow, yeah, I missed that. I gotta go check that out.
Yeah, it was right when she was telling the story. "Hey, you want me to tell the story about how I lost my tail?" And Shax got excited and said, "Yeah."
And he's like, wait, let's run program or resume program or something.
Right. And Tindy's in there and she's like got her head up just listening at the last second. And the story from Ta'ana begins with, "I was on the," and what I heard was Okakin. And I was like, okay, where's this going?
Yeah, what are you trying to say? What's wrong with
I don't know. I still don't know what I'm saying. That's just all I heard. That's what I heard. So you got to trace that. You got to find that ship. Find that ship. Oh man.
Hang on, I'm checking right. Okay. Oh, I was on the Algonquin.
Oh,
Algonquin. I think that is another city in California. Algonquin. Let me check. The reason I know, I just put the closed captioning on. I just went on to Paramount Plus, everybody, ParamountPlus.com. And I just fast forward real quick to that section. I knew exactly where it was. And Algonquin, I believe, is, because it was like a tribe or something like that. So I think there's a city named after it. Anyway.
Okay.
So Cirroc, I can't.
So I didn't hear it right. Okay.
I didn't even hear it at all. I totally missed it. Anyway.
All right.
But yeah, so they were doing their black and white holodeck program or holodeck program. And that was reminiscent of what's his name? Picard loves to do that stuff. He loves to be Dix. Dixon Hill, but he goes by Dix. And he's like, "Call me Dix." And it's like, so that's what that reminded me of. I don't know if it was a direct callback to that.
Okay.
But how did you feel when they said it's like a petty for your hand toes?
Yeah, I was. They lost me with that one.
Have you ever had a mani and or pedi?
Yeah, I've had a manicure before.
Damn, I haven't.
Yeah, I've had a pedicure once, but I don't like it because I'm ticklish and I don't like people all over my ticklish. So it's not the best
squirming?
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm sensitive on the feet. So
me too.
I'll do the manicure every once in a while. I feel like my hand's going to be.
Yeah, you've earned it.
Subject matter, but otherwise I I don't. But I did like the reference to when they were saying, how would you say to enter in your room? And they were like, well, I would do what Riker does.
Yes.
That was that whole little Is that what he does? He says, come?
Yeah, he goes, come. But I think Picard does that too. Like a lot of them say, come. You know, they're all those guys are like, come, come, come. And then what's her name? Like Tendi and Mariner were fighting over it. Fighting over who gets to say come.
Enter front. No, that was Tendi says, I'm going to say enter front.
Yeah. And it was Boimler and Mariner fighting over who gets to say come. And they're both practicing who can say come better.
It was funny to me. I was busting out laughing with that. He's like, no, you can't use cum. I use cum. They also made a reference to a churro, and they called
churro
it churro Libby.
That was a first. That did not remind me of anything.
That's not a throwback.
Like when the dude goes, when Ransom says, 35 churros in an unmarked paper bag. Hot.
Yeah. These guys are going all the way with this show.
However, I will say one thing. When they mentioned Ransom becoming a caveman, that had to have been a reference to Commander Riker in Next Generation episode Genesis, which is not a very well-liked episode for some reason, but I loved it. It's one of my favorite episodes, actually. And they all kind of become different things, and Riker becomes a caveman. He was the commander, check it out, who becomes a caveman. So when they said Ransom became a caveman, I was like, that's just like Riker here becoming a Cro-Magnon.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that episode. It's very memorable and fun. And Worf becomes like some giant scarab monster, and Troy becomes a fish.
Maybe we'll do an episode with Caveman Riker, Cave Girl Molly, and Caveman Shax.
Nice. Yeah, the adventures of Star Trek cave people.
That would be a perfect Geico commercial. Wasn't that the old Geico caveman commercial?
I miss the Geico caveman. Yeah. He was nice. He always seemed so earnest.
Well, he finished second to Riker playing the role, so he was.
Didn't they have, not to get off subject here, didn't they actually do a Geico caveman TV show for a second that?
Yeah.
Like it popped on and then just disappeared real quick.
They tried to do a TV show with that caveman.
Oh, they should have.
Yep.
Anyway,
I thought the whole engineers kind of not being able to relax without doing some kind of engineering stuff was also a very good troll on the mental, how nerdy they are. And I thought it was funny.
And how it made them happy to solve problems. And that's an interesting way to kind of look, turn around and look at it and say, well, rather than telling them how to calm down, why not let them tell us what allows them to calm down? I thought that was actually a really good point made. It's like we do try to say, here, do this to feel better. But sometimes we got to listen to what the other person's saying.
Yeah.
That's what calms you down.
And the one girl is getting a massage, and then she's over there building something, and she says, was I the only one sneaking in the build time? And the other guy's like, he puts his hand up like, I was building a self-sealing stem bolt too over here.
Wait. It wasn't a self-sealing stem bolt, was it?
No, but it could have been.
I was so ashamed of myself for missing that. I was like, wait a minute.
It could have been, though. I was looking at it like, what are they making? It could have been a self-sealing stem bolt. But no, just the whole idea that they're sneaking in building time, or they're making a circuit board with the sand, I just thought very clever. And that's how they relax. Who are we to tell people that, you need a massage to relax, or you need to, meditate in a yoga position with a candle. Maybe relaxing for some people is putting a puzzle together, or building a model kit, or
Going to the gym. Like it would be like
gym.
that. It's like some people look at going to the gym as like that's their relax spot, and other people might think, don't go to the gym, relax. And they're like, but that is.
Nah, yeah, exactly. Or I like to run with my headphones and zone out. That's my relaxing. But you're working, you're running, you're sweating. Yeah, I know. That's what I like to do. So yeah, I feel like they addressed that really good in this episode. And the moments of them, Tindy's so sweet when she says to she tells Mariner, "I'm sorry I made you hatch."
Yeah. Oh, she's so cute. Yeah. When she's like, "I'm sorry," and she's like, "Oh no, it's fine. It was really warm," or something like that. These are very realistic dialogues or deliveries of dialogues that, and we've said this before, but I feel like there's no way that the producers and or directors don't allow the actors to riff a little bit, to improvise. They say, here's the line, and most of the times you got to stick with the line, but I feel like sometimes they go, give it to me another way, or riff something, or because sometimes they deliver things in such a way that feels so natural and so normal, and I'm sure that was a line that was written, but they do such a great job of writing good dialogue and the actors of delivering realistic dialogue, and it feels like we're just listening to an actual real conversation.
Absolutely. And even the way this show flies by. Every time I watch it, it's like I'm never like looking at the clock like, oh my God, another 5 minutes.
Because they're just pelting us with information and jokes, and it's like, it's so much.
It's so much. This time they brought in the Delta shift. So it's like, oh, we never get to see this other shift of people that are basically take over when they leave. And the way that it went from a competition to this fake camaraderie, friend, hey, we should all be friends type moment. Yeah. I love that too. Because they were sitting there planning their whole lives together, and then they're like, got you. And it was like that great little, the rivalries reactivated. So the little things that they do, like, for example, even just crawling through conduits, and then, we need to activate the deflector shield or whatever it was, and seeing them caught up in that room when it's being activated. I think those are just like cool little trolls on Star Trek. And we talked to Mike McMahon about it. The way his understanding of Star Trek is clear, but the way he makes light of things that you might not necessarily think about, or you would think about, but you don't think about it in the way he does. He takes things and makes it very light. There's a lot of self-deprecation that happens in this show, where it's just like, hey, we're not going to take ourselves that serious, and we're going to make fun of ourselves.
It's very self-aware. It's very meta, where they're doing like inside jokes. They're laughing at themselves. We love that kind of stuff.
She said, what were you thinking? She was like, I was thinking that the cucumber, the cells inside of the it's like some scientific, like, and it was like, okay, that's what you were thinking, because that's how your mind works. But the fact that they would take the cucumbers and block the signal on the wristbands and all of that stuff.
Those rascally engineers.
Yeah, those rascally smart little engineers. And just the way that they're able to troll themselves and troll the whole idea of fandom, of collectability, of what happens behind closed doors, or what's in these extra rooms, or they just really know how to make really good light of Star Trek. And they take some of those serious moments that we've all kind of sit on the edge of our seats for. Yeah. And they turn it into a joke, and a very good joke.
It's beautiful. It's very charming, and I'm really happy with it. I mean, we're always throwing so many compliments at these guys, but they deserve it. And I want to talk a lot more about this, but we can't right now because we're about to let in a few of our associate producers to join us for a special free-for-all second half here. So before we talk about that other stuff, we have some non-appearance mentions. We already discussed one of them, and a bunch of other stuff to talk about. But before we flip over, let us give a very special thanks to Homer Frizzell out in Walter Koenig's former apartment building in New York. We've got Dr. Marie Segal, Eve England out in Wales, Yvette Blackmon-Tom, Carmen, a.k.a. Skillet, Timothy Baum, a.k.a. Grandpa One, TJ Jackson-Bey out in Missouri, Bill Victor Arucan, Titus Mohler, Tim Baum. Wait, did I already say? Yeah, I already said Tim Baum. You get double this week, Tim. Darlena Murray, John Mann, Dr. Mohamed Noor, Tierney C. Dieckmann on a post, Rex A. Wood, Anil O. Palat, Erica Strom out in the UK, Joe Balsarati in the Bay Area, Mike Gu, DQ, Neil Akasaka, Justine Norton-Kurtzen, Dr. Stephanie Baker, Carrie Schwent, Faith Howell, Edward Foltz, Radek Orszewski out in Southwest Poland, Henry Unger, live from Tokyo, you'll never guess from where, and of course, Dr. Eve, sorry, I said Dr. Everybody's getting double mentions today. Let's just go through the whole thing all over again. No, of course, Dr. Susan
V. Gruner.
There it is. We're going to right this ship, promise. We'll be right back on the seventh rule. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the seventh rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello.
We just got finished with our very G-rated break. And now we've returned with our audio engineer. Goldie Scott Jensen is here.
So, yeah.
Also, a couple associate producers from the New York area, Homer Frizzell and Dr. Marie Segal. All right, we got the... All right. First things first, Anne-Marie told us that there was a Sisko quote.
Yes, Boimler says fortune favors the bold, which I believe is from the episode Favors the Bold.
I think you're right.
I mean, it's also like a line that everybody knows. Though,
yeah, but it's a very Star Trek. Like, that's one of those like famous Sisko-isms.
We'll allow it.
You accept it?
I mean, it's a very... We'll take it because anything
it's no put those away, Diane, but it's pretty good.
What was your favorite line of the episode again, Anne-Marie?
Put those away, Diane.
Yep. So laughed out loud in the break room.
Yeah, that's like my new parlance for that.
You want to suckle on Mama's?
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious too. I just love that Bonnie and Clyde holodeck program. Oh my goodness, those two were just amazing.
Wouldn't he get like cat hair stuck in his teeth?
Okay.
I don't know, maybe the Bajorans have like bigger gaps between their gums, like their gums and their teeth.
Okay, I got a question for our New Yorkers.
Oh boy.
Have either one of you been to the Algonquin Hotel?
Oh my God.
Square?
So that's my favorite thing. That's like a frequented place for businessmen who are married to ask you out on dates. So yes, I have been there by mistake when I moved to New York, and that's how I know. It's also been in Mad Men.
Businessmen who are married have to hang out there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been there, but not as often, clearly.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have been there.
And it's really cute. I live kind of by there.
It's nice. They may have a round table. I'm not sure.
So,
they have good coffee.
did any of you see Anna in there losing her tail?
Oh my God, I was like distracted.
Okay.
I didn't.
Checking. You didn't see. Okay.
No. Also, Algonquin looks like it's a little area south of Long Beach by Sunset Beach in California. Algonquin. For everybody keeping score at home. Were you going to say something, Homer?
Yeah, well, I was just wondering, when they referenced that, were they talking about the place, or they were talking about a ship? I thought it was a ship.
And I memory alpha it, and it wasn't there. Like that. the first entry was for this episode.
So a ship based in California would make sense, with a name from California.
Cerritos.
That's what I assumed too, but it seems pretty borderline on that because
there are like Native American ship names from like TNG.
That's true, like the Tecumseh.
And the Crazy Horse, which is a weird name for a ship.
What's up, Cirroc?
I have no idea about the last couple of ships that you're not talking about.
Yeah.
There's the Crazy Horse. Everybody loves the Tecumseh.
Yeah. Yep.
So I hate to nitpick, but there is a major one that actually Mohamed just messaged me and was like, I was going to ask you, but I beat him to messaging me. So in science, there are two words, hydrophilic and hydrophobic. So PHIL means you love something. Phobic obviously means you don't like it or you're scared of it, whatever. Stop sleeping, Ryan. So they're talking about like somebody's skin's natural like film barrier to like so water doesn't get in. And they say hydrophilic, which is really wrong. So it's kind of strange to use one word. Like anytime I use either of the words, I always stop and like double check I use the right one. But yeah, philic means like water would actually like get absorbed in because it loves it. So like your skin, for example, has like two hydrophobic barriers, and then the hydrophilic part is inside. So that hydrophobic means like water bounces off of it. So it's like a weird mistake to make, and they said it like very pronounced. So yeah.
Thank you for pointing out what we were all thinking.
Well, they just need to call Dr. Mohamed Noor for some like proofreading.
Good knowledge. Excellent knowledge. Excellent knowledge, actually.
Excellent knowledge.
Thank you.
Yes.
Goldie Scott, can you just tell us what you thought of this episode overall? Did you laugh a lot? Do you usually laugh more at episodes? Did you love seeing the benzite in the mud bath? What's up?
I think the part that I took from it was the work retreat the most, and that mandatory upper management mandatory fun. That was absolutely great. That is, I haven't seen that at my current job I'm at yet, but I've seen that in the past, and it is incredibly hilarious. And I love that that Rutherford kind of got his own little side story. I feel like he hasn't got enough spotlight of him by himself doing something, or with everybody else, and the whole engineers thing, and never being able to stop working because working is what makes you happy, which is also something that kind of hit a little close too. So
that's totally you.
It was a lot of fun.
Also, how much did you love the masks references? I love that episode of TNG so much.
I loved the reference more than I liked the episode of TNG.
That's amazing.
I like that there's always some kind of wacky hijinks going on in the background that is 100% either TOS or TNG, some kind of crazy.
Also, like TNG was like constantly talking about aqueducts, like so many alien planets, and I just like love that they throw that word in here too. So funny.
Do you guys think that maybe Tendy's little pet Goopy might be a Murph?
I was wondering that. Or
that's pretty.
Yeah,
that's possible.
Right? It's about the same time, right? Yeah,
it's possible.
What if it's Odo?
It might be some whatever alien Murph is. Oh, it might be Odo. Whoa.
It's a founder. Yeah. And it's infiltrating the Cerritos.
I don't know.
I don't know, but it was super cute. Because it was like a little goldish.
I would believe a Murph.
Me too.
I like
that's where my Latinum is.
You like what, Homer?
I like the changeling angle.
Yeah.
And Goop is like, well, makes me think of that a bit. We'll see. Maybe. Or maybe the character pet will never be back. We don't know.
Yeah. Maybe she found Goopy on the Tecumseh. You never know. What did you think of this episode overall, Homer?
Well, so talk of Goop reminded me that Tendy was thinking about how if she got the room, she would have a place for a lot of beakers, which I thought was an interesting way of putting things. That's the science side, rather than saying I can get a terrarium or an aquarium or what have you. I thought it was entertaining. I didn't think it was particularly funny. I did like that Rutherford got his own, got his time away. I did like the trio of them as they're trying to get to the computer to enter them in. I thought that that they would have thought, oh yeah, all four of us can be in this room. So I thought that was kind of an easy leap to make, and I was disappointed they didn't make that. And so I was like, I don't know. I was disappointed in some of the story elements. And then as far as at the Dove, I think it was, you have the engineers doing engineering things, designing. They're all designing something. And then the one time that they're actually caught is when they're not designing anything. They've got a solution and they've got the cucumbers under their bracelets. So it's not keeping in with what they were doing before. And so if they could have come up with something where they're actually doing something on the sly, maybe it's a holographic version of them there, and elsewhere they're doing some work instead of just this easy way out. So I thought that they missed a couple of opportunities to make it actually funny.
Homer, you say that as you wear a Lower Decks shirt.
I do. I gave it a 6.
Whoa, that's about.
Which is,
all right. It's not too bad.
Not too bad. That's right. It's not too bad.
Hurtful.
Oh, I have a question. So at the very, very beginning, this scene takes place, and this person here looks very afraid and is running away. This is before the masks, before Freeman enters. So I'm just wondering if anyone knows what the deal is here.
Maybe she's running still and started farther back and saw the mask.
She did, yeah. So she was further back, and there's someone who had their I'm going to say drawer out, and so you had the operations uniforms in there, and there are two people talking, and she was part of that conversation. It seemed like, and she was looking, and then she's like, and I have no idea why.
With ultra sensitive hearing.
She's a betazoid, and she felt something was coming.
Ooh.
Get out of there.
Very good.
Sense.
I hope we find out.
Nuki has woken.
Yeah, so that it would have been nice. Just I think that they could have done that a little bit more. They could have been more subtle, I think. The joke seemed to be right over the head.
I thought it was very funny, Homer. And did you guys catch the 2 non-appearance mentions of the episode? 2 NAMs.
Oh my. Yes, and no, I'm trying. I actually one of them. I was like, I'm not writing them down because
one of them is Tindy's teacher, Muckaluk Lucky Lucky.
Miglimo. Yeah.
Miglimo. Yep. And I don't know the other one.
I feel like it's
it's LaForge, right?
No, I'll give you a hint. Genesis.
Doctor.
Oh no,
Marcus. Dr. Marcus. No, I don't remember that.
They mentioned Riker.
Yes, I thought of this, and I was like,
talking about Riker when they were saying Riker says, "Come, I want to do use comer," all that kind of stuff.
That was so cute.
Which was very funny.
That was mildly entertaining.
And the reason I mentioned Genesis was because they also said that Ransom turned into a caveman. So Cirroc and I were talking about how Riker turned into a caveman in Genesis and how maybe they were kind of doing a little wink and nod to that episode. Anne-Marie disagrees. You can tell because she's I bet you it was. Totally. I bet it was a reference.
Did he turn into a caveman? I thought he was transitioning to something else.
No, he turned into
he was a Neanderthal type dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was amazed that the replicator could replicate a bag around food. I thought that was even more interesting that it could make food out of poop. So that was pretty cool.
Maybe it's organic bags too.
There you go.
Devices with it. I think a bag is not a big stretch.
It was
pretty. It makes the glass and plate.
The sweat on the bottom of the bag and everything.
Ice cream sundae dishes.
Back in the replicator.
We only have a couple minutes left, you guys, but real quick, Don Crandall sent in some goodies for us. He mentions Eric's the Adosian that we already talked about. Taz was.
How fun was the Adosian clip clapping with like the 3 hands?
I really
enjoyed that.
I loved it all. He also mentions masks, of course. Oh, and they mentioned the Darcy archives. Darcy. Yeah. And mentioned the mud baths.
From 87 million years ago.
Oh, see? And he says the mention of Ransom turning into a caveman was probably a nod to Riker turning into a caveman in Genesis. Sorry, Anne-Marie, if Don Crandall says it is, you lose your naysaying.
With that mud bath thing, if they would have had that little balloon that appeared when Worf and Alexander and Roxanne Troy were in there.
It's Telluride mud bath like in Enterprise. Because I looked it up on Memory Alpha. There are 4 or 5 different mud bath mentions in all of Star Trek. So this one was a nod to Enterprise. But obviously, my favorite mud bath of all is from TNG with Roxanne and Troy.
Of course.
Yeah. Because that's what I looked forward to the first time I watched it.
Of course. All right. Real quick, you guys, before we go, if you had to sit in a mud bath for 4 hours with somebody from Star Trek, who would it be? Anne-Marie's going to say Loxana Troy. What are you going to say, Scott?
Or Kirk.
Yeah, I was going to kind of go in that direction as far as what characters are pretty attractive. Oh, man, I don't know. Well, let's pull one from this show. I'd hang out with Jennifer. She's hilarious. Or Jen. I don't think we get enough of Jen. She's a hilarious character.
What about you, Homer Freezy?
Well, I'm torn. Do I want to just hang out in the mud bath and be left alone? In which case, that's probably Spock. Or if I don't necessarily want to be left alone and like nonstop chatter, it's going to be Mariner.
Whoa.
So, yeah. If the goal is to relax, then I'm going to say Spock. It'd be a Vulcan.
I feel like Mariner's going to splash around. I don't want to wait.
Yeah, I think Mariner would make
my
it.
Hair.
There's sticks in here.
So, Anne-Marie, is it Loxana?
Yeah, because she respects, like, don't get mud in your hair because she puts her hair up like that when she's in the mud bath. Which, like, I like that. I don't want mud in my hair.
I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
I don't want mud in my hair either.
What about you, Cirroc? The intendant, maybe? I don't know.
You nailed it. Put me in the bath with her. That's a good deal for me. No, I wanted to say that I liked Rutherford's line in this episode. Rutherford said, "I am relaxed. I just got back from a spa."
That was so cute.
I thought that was hilarious. And then the other thing I thought was funny is when Mariner was hallucinating, there was it looked like Badgie or somebody.
Yeah, what was that?
It looked like she was talking to Badgie.
I thought it was like a starfish.
Always close.
Well, then there was also like, it looked like a baby or something between like the tree roots, but I kept like trying to zoom in, watching it on my computer. I couldn't like see what that was.
Yeah, that little hallucination scene was kind of funny to me.
It's good stuff with their dilated pupils. And
yeah.
That was fun with their like nitrous oxide. No, that was good.
Nitrous oxide. You mean the high-pitched voice? No, that's helium that does that.
So when is Star Trek?
Like
when is Star Trek going to officially have those vape pens that they keep showing us? When am I going to be able to get that Star Trek OG vape pen?
Probably before the Murph plushies.
Dude, and then they have like different flavors. Like they'll be like Ta'ana furball flavor or
the
like
vape pen is
Saru's blueberry flavor.
Yeah. Rafi's Laffy Taffy.
Yeah.
I mean, this was kind of like a Willy Wonka episode. So perfect.
Hope you're listening, Paramount.
Yeah, they are. They are always, they watch this show 4 times in a row. Anyway, all right, well, we gotta run.
Ryan, who would you want to mud bath with?
Jake and Nog.
There it is.
Of course.
7th rule reunion.
Yeah, just because really like it would be a cool hangout. We would laugh and talk and talk and talk, and then Nog would be like, "You know, this has been fun, but everybody shut up for like an hour. I want to take a nap."
Yeah.
And then we would just be like,
"Quiet." To go to.
Yeah.
It'll be a very good place for your dirty jokes.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's all true. I've never told a dirty joke before, but I get you. Anyway, I got a Homer head tilt. Good enough.
Not bad. Not bad.
Thanks for playing with us, everybody. Thank you to Homer, Goldu Scott, Dr. Marie Segal. Everybody at home, what did you think of this episode? What was your favorite line? Who would you choose to play in a mud bath with for 4 hours? Do you want to be left alone? Do you want to banter? Do you want to make it like a splashing party where you got it in my eyes. I think I'm blind. This is fun, you rascal. Or what, Let us know in the comments below. Yeah, you imp. Anyway, let us know your thoughts. We love to hear it, and it provides us weeks of talking points when you do that. So we'll read your comments aloud to each other next time we have a pizza party. And until then, for Cirroc, Lofton, and Aaron Eisenberg, for Malissa Longo, and of course Jake and Nog in the mud bath, my name is Ryan T. Husk, and thank you very much. Always remember the 7th rule.